The Granny Man by Judith Byron Schachner. Simon was a very old cat. With the exception of his nose, most of his parts had stopped working long ago. He was blind and deaf, and his bones creaked as he climbed up and down the stairs. Simon's family adored him, and they did all they could to keep him comfy in his old age. Meal times were messy for their toothless old cat, so the family bought Simon a bib to catch all the dribbles. "It's bad enough I have to eat baby food," thought Simon, without having to look like one too. But Simon loved the many heat treatments his family provided for him throughout the house. He basked and baked his itchy bones until he was almost too hot to touch. When Simon slept in a bed at night, he snored and sneezed and drooled and breathed stinky old cat breath right in their faces. But his family didn't mind because they would do anything for their dear old cat. On other nights, he stayed put on the calico chair in the corner, staring into space while he shuffled through a lifetime of old memories. Simon could still remember what it was like after he was born. The place was crawling with kittens that looked exactly like him. One by one, each of the kittens went off to their new homes with nice families. All but him. Nobody wanted the runt with the crooked tail and the runny nose. But then one day a nice couple found him irresistible, especially his crooked tail. They put a hanky to his nose, placed him in a bucket, and carried him to their home. They called him Simon. Simon loved being a kitten. He climbed, he clawed, he chased, and he chewed everything in sight. Simon sculpted fluffy works of art out of several chairs and a chintz-covered couch. "Bad boy!" cried the couple, and they clipped his claws. Simon's sculptures were never the same again. The older Simon grew, the more he helped out around the house. He pruned the plants with his teeth and dusted all the hard-to-reach places. Simon's family grew in size, and so did his responsibilities. Within 3 years, 2 new pets arrived, and Simon taught them both how to be good cats. In his middle age, Simon acquired a taste for classical music. He played Bach duets with his family and performed an occasional solo at midnight. Music always made Simon hungry, so he filled up on kitty crunchies in the kitchen. Then he hunted wildebeest with the great cats of the Serengeti. Simon's life had been so full of mice, full of hisses, full of hugs, and full of kisses. But now things were different. Simon needed his family's help more than ever, and he felt their pity with every little pat on the head. He felt so useless that at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, Simon stuck his bony old legs into the air and breathed his last breath. Or so he thought. But then, in less than a minute, his family plopped something soft right on top of their old cat's tummy. Simon sniffed to the left, and he sniffed to the right. "Why, it's a little kitten," thought Simon. Even though it had been years ago, Simon remembered how he helped the other new pets when they had come to the house. He wondered if he could still do it. With great difficulty, Simon climbed down from his chair and carried the kitten downstairs to a fresh saucer of milk. Then he demonstrated a whisker washing. The kitten did his best to imitate the old cat. When Simon twitched his tail, the kitten leaped onto his head, expecting to ride around the room. A little while later, Simon led the kitten over to his box. It took so long for the kitten to heap a mountain of litter onto the floor that Simon decided to take a nap. When Simon woke up, the kitten was gone. The old cat hobbled his way back to the calico chair to sit alone in the sliver of moonlight. It must have been a dream. Or so he thought. Just then, something soft and small jumped right on top of him. Simon sniffed to the left, and he sniffed to the right. "Why, it's my kitten," thought Simon. Simon began to give the kitten a bath. He washed his little ears and licked his little nose. He groomed his frisky tail and cleaned between each of his tiny toes. Then a grumbly, rumbly purr stirred deep within his chest, and he curled himself round his little pet. When Simon's family saw how tenderly he cared for the new kitten, they loved him even more. So it was with the greatest respect that they gave their dear old cat a brand new name. They called him the Granny Man.